Hi there. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are continuing our journey to discovering our purpose. With all the other conversations that we had, we just don't want to lose sight of the most important things. First, who am I? Where do I come from? And lastly, why am I here? So I just want to, let's just remind ourselves again. Where do I come from again? So it's very important to be clear on that, because that determines your value. Your worth is determined by your source, where you're coming from. We spoke about different theories around why we're here and how we came to be here. So what you believe around that determines your value. So in discovering your purpose, that is key, because that value that you have, that determine whether you'll be able to do what you need to do here. So if you have another belief around where you come from, that's another conversation. We're clear on that, right? Where we come from. We were created in the likeness and the image of our Creator, the Almighty God, the Creator of heaven and earth. That makes us spirit. So to the question, who am I? I am spirit, created in the image of God. Because the Almighty is spirit and I am created in the likeness of the Almighty. So be clear on that. And again, if you believe somehow differently, then that is another conversation on its own. Today, we want to focus on why am I here? Now that I'm not doubting my value, I have a high self-esteem, not because of what I know, of what I have, but because of who I am, who I was created by. We're all good with that. Let's just get that sink in for a while. So why am I here? That is the most important question, as we said, right? You are here because you are carrying a seed that needs to bear fruit to serve to the world. That's the answer. That's why you're here. You are here to be a blessing to others, not for yourself. And in all that, to glorify your Creator. So your success is in your seed that you're carrying. It was interesting when I read about a seed, interesting that it is made reference to a seed that we're carrying. I went and read up on seeds. Did you know, and I'm sure a lot of you knows about that already, maybe it's just me that didn't know about it. Did you know that all a seed needs to germinate is within the seed? It was so interesting to know that and to read about that. So the seed comes with everything it needs to germinate. So when a seed comes in touch with water and soil, it automatically germinates. After it germinates, then only it needs other food to be able to grow into a tree that bear fruit. So with that, it means that what you need to germinate, you have within yourself. You don't have to do much. You have the seed that can germinate, but it needs to be in a good environment. It needs sunlight. But the mere fact that if it comes in touch with soil and water, it germinates, it says a lot. But once it germinates and it comes up, then there's quite a lot of dangers. It's wind, must be protected. There are pesticides out there, so you need to take care of the seed. And the next interesting thing was when I read up on seeds and growth of seeds and trees, the moment the seed becomes a tree and bear fruit, the only thing, the most important thing it needs after bearing fruit is water. It was so interesting to know that. It means when you plant your seed, you don't need much because you come with what you need. And in between, there's quite food, etc. that you need to give for the tree to become a tree and bear fruit. But once it bears fruit, then it also doesn't need much. It is interesting. So now let's come back to our conversation around why we're here. We said you're here because you have a seed that needs to be planted and bear fruit for the world, to serve the world. Now, the food that you need to give the seed to become a tree is you learning. So when you start planting your seed, you don't need much because everything that you need to germinate you have. But once you planted that seed and it germinates, you need to do quite a lot. It's about learning. Last time we talked about continuous learning. Now you have planted your seed. You need an environment that protects this. You need people. You need to surround yourself with people that protect this fruit that you need to bear. You need to read, learn as much as you can. You need to get mentors that will guide you to get to where you want to be based on that fruit. Now, how do we know what fruit you will bear? How do you know if you plant an apple tree and an orange tree? Which one is which? We know nowadays we have apps that can identify that. But it's only when the tree bear the fruit, an apple, that we will say, oh, it's an apple tree. Or when the tree bears an orange, then it is an orange tree. But in the meantime, you might not know what fruit you will be bearing until such time that you bear the fruit. In the meantime, you need to learn, protect the seed to grow, to become a tree. And in that, as I said, is all the learning that you need to do, the people that you need to surround yourself with, the mentoring, the coaching, the reading, all that learning that you need to do to bear the fruit that you need to serve the world with. Key is, today's talk is all around who am I, that we have clarified already, where I'm coming from. We clarified that already because that is key, because that determines your value. And now we know why we're here. Why you're here is you bearing a seed within you that you need to plant so it germinates to bear fruit that you need to serve the world with. We will talk about more about what about this fruit. How do I come to know the fruit? As I said, how do I come to know, okay, I've got a seed. So what seed is that? As I said, an apple tree is only known when it bears apples, that it is an apple tree. An orange tree is only known that it's an orange tree when it bears oranges. So you will only know when you start bearing your fruit that you are either an apple tree or an orange tree. In the meantime, remain clear on who you are, where you're coming from, and know that you have a seed that needs to be planted. Another truth about seeds that we all know, unless the seed is planted, it will never bear fruit. It will remain dormant until such time that you put it in the soil. The same way with your seed that you're carrying. You might be carrying your seed, and unless you plant that seed, it will never germinate. Some of us might die with our seeds within. Some might be planting it and not protect it after it was planted. So there's a lot to be done. But for today, now we know why you're here. You have a seed, and that seed needs to be planted. We'll continue this conversation again in terms of what do you mean I need to plant it? Where do I plant it? How do I plant it? And when I protect it, what does it mean? We started off by saying you need to learn, mentors, coaching, reading. It's all about protecting your seed. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Hope that you'll tune in again when we start talking about the continuous learning to protect the fruit that is about to come in years. And only if you've done a good job with protecting that seed that germinated. Thank you so much. With that, signing out, Anastasia Williams, loving to inspire you to be more. Hi there, my name is Anastasia Williams, and I love to inspire you to be more.